Hello, once again, folks, and welcome to another episode of I Ruined It, the art series where I take some of your favorite childhood things and I ruin them. In today's episode, although not strictly meant for children, has a fond place in my memory from when I was a child. Today's episode, we are going to be working with Rick and Morty. So, without further ado, let's see how it goes. So, I mentioned that Rick and Morty is not exactly a kid's show for the sheer fact that it's not a kid's show. It's irreverent comedy that's literally on a channel section referred to as Adult Swim. So like it's not a kid show. But I can guarantee it's a big part of people my age or even a little bit younger's uh, more formative kind of sense of comedy that they got from modern television. Because I remember I was in high school when Rick and Morty came out, and I would stay up late to catch episodes here and there. It was all pretty much everyone in my high school was talking about for the longest time. So, yeah, and God, and then just so many things have branched off because of that. Like the show Solar Opposites on Hulu probably wouldn't have had much for footing had Rick and Morty not been such a massive success. The fan base had effectively brought back a sauce for McDonald's. Like, what even is this? What is our reality, man? Even like kids growing up nowadays, like the ones that go out and they play Fortnite. Rick and Morty has a Fortnite skin. Like, regardless of whether you liked the show or not, you can't deny that it's had some kind of cultural significance. Now, I'm not going to talk about anything in regards to any behind the scenes drama that has been in the news in the last couple years, but this is my way of saying, hey, yep, I know show nowadays is a little more problematic, but that being said, it still has a relatively big fan base. It's still, the earlier seasons were still things that I remember watching and I remember loving, and for me it wasn't so much even the character designs. If anything, the character designs were only really all that cool to me because it was a non-traditional way to draw a pupil. I mean, how many shows were doing anything but like a circle or a circle with a cutout? And Rick and Morty was just like, you know what? We're gonna asterisks for pupils. Just crazy. Just actually nutty. But I suppose that now that we're about 4.5 minutes in, I should probably talk about what I'm actually doing with this. So, keeping in the theme of food and food adjacent things for the month of November, which is traditionally in the United States when we celebrate Thanksgiving, I decided I was going to do Rick and Morty because of their presidential turkey pardoning episode that they had. And I was going to take inspiration from the Cronenberg episodes that they've done. So effectively what happened is, what we can give this one backstory, I guess. Rick and Morty were on some kind of adventure thing, and Rick handed Morty a gun that did something, and Morty wasn't actually paying attention how to use it, and accidentally transmogrified himself and Rick into a mashed potato pile, and then they ended up getting mixed. It's very season 1, very straightforward, but I mean, I wouldn't put it beyond the scope of the show. They had Rick turn himself into a pickle as a means to avoid dealing with personal trauma and its impact on his family. Like, that was a roller coaster of emotions in that episode. But now that we've determined that this is a pile of mashed potatoes with Rick and Morty as the soul, effectively, of it, we're gonna take a second here and we're gonna get some tools figured out. Because what good is mashed potatoes without a plate to eat them on? Now, I tried so hard. Guys, I tried so hard to just freehand draw it, but life me couldn't. So, if any of you are curious about it, what I'm doing here is I'm using an ellipses selection tool, and then I'm stroking the selection path, and super simple, super easy, super intuitive. Overall, it's like 3 or 4 clicks with the mouse on the software that I use, and we more or less end up getting a Rick and Morty style plate. Now, I guess just coloring, like, I started realizing numerous episodes of these art videos ago that I really should make sure that I have a high contrast background if I'm going to do white, so that's all that red really was there for. Now we're gonna take that gravy that's leaking out of Rick's mouth, and we're going to put it on our plate here. I wanted it to look a little more organic, so instead of just a straight line there, we've got those kind of waves and ripples from where I naturally had been coloring in the mass of it. But then we're going to zoom out. We're going to go snag a reference image here pretty soon, and that should be popping up any moment after I check these layers. And 3, 2, 1. There we go. So I kind of wanted to recreate the Butterbot meme thing with this too. As you guys will notice here, I'm kind of just copying the tablecloth, and we're then going to go through, give that edge line, go and get the pattern, and then after that's all said and done, it's going to be on a shading. So hang tight for it. Yeah, I don't really got much else to add on this one. Just thank you to the Rick and Morty guys for making an amazing show that lasted as long as it has been. with as many wonderful cast choices as there have been. Because honestly, when it was first coming out, I probably wouldn't have watched it if it weren't for the fact that I loved Sarah Chalke, who is the voice of Summer, not Summer, wow, Beth from Scrubs, and just so many other random characters that show up through the series. But yeah, folks, that's gonna about do it for this week's episode, I guess. So if there's something you'd like to see in a future one of these videos, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you want to keep up to date with the videos that I am making, feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Again, it's always free. If you change your mind later, you can always unsubscribe. And if you just liked this video and you want to show some support, hit the like button. I mean, it's a lot of this is pretty intuitive. You hear it from everybody else on this platform. So, otherwise, folks, bye.